My name is ALISTAIR Kirkwood. I head up the London office of the NFL, which is the league that runs American football in the States. It's the biggest sport in America. I got into my profession in a slightly strange way. I was doing a degree in the Netherlands. I had to do some work experience. What I did was I wrote a couple of cheeky letters. So I wrote a letter to FC Barcelona and I wrote a letter to a vice president of the NFL. And in both, I tried to stand out from the crowd. In both cases, I wrote the top 10 things they were doing wrong internationally. Within about 4 days of sending the letters, I got phone calls from both of them. I then got interviews as a result and got offers of interning as well in both places. I think a lesson that I got from it was if you're going into a competitive area, then do something different. High risk, high reward. I think youth is incredibly important to have around. Viewers won't need to be the most observant to realise that I'm middle-aged and in a suit, and yet I'm in a sport that aspires to grow and become much bigger in the UK. We've had our average age of our fans go down in the last 5 years from 33 to 26, and in order to do that, we've obviously had to grow and get out to a lot of teenagers as a result, and having people around that kind of understand the mentality and what's actually it's all about is really important. My top 5 tips would be, number 1, don't rely on your love of sport alone, because we're a sports crazed nation and you've got to figure that 20 million other people love sport, and a lot of the time it's not about what you know, it's actually about how you can transfer what you know to other people. The second is to have a clear idea as to what you can offer to a prospective employer. Too many people apply by just saying that they're available. Now, for the most part, people that are in business have a finite amount of time. They're not really that interested in looking at a blank piece of paper. The more that you can actually customize, do a little bit of research, which would be my 3rd tip. Do a little bit of research, try and find out maybe where there are either weaknesses or whether there's projects that they're working on or something that they're planning to do, and try and customize what you think you know or what you think you can offer, and try and sort that out. The 4th would be to understand the organisation as much as you possibly can. Before you apply to an organisation, you need to try and do as much research on the internet, speak to different people in and outside the organisation as much as you can, and listen. Because if you know what makes the organisation tick, you'll be much better in actually coming up with your application. And then I think the final one is think out the box. Do things that are different to anybody else. And don't be afraid of rejection, because the rejections will actually make you stronger and wiser in terms of what you need to do going forward. So it's not about how many rejections you get, it's about finding the one that's right for you. I know that when I look to interview people and assess people, I'll skim read the CV. It's actually much more about what they can do on a day-to-day basis. So qualifications probably help you get in the door, but they won't get you to where you need to be. Whilst you're in your internship, I think there are 2 things that you need to focus on. One is come across as being a good team player that's willing to do absolutely anything, because you can very quickly get a reputation that's not complimentary and doesn't give you opportunities. The second is have a really good attitude and get to know as many people within that organisation, because it's not just the people that are your line managers that could be your friends and allies. going forward if you're looking for future opportunities with that organisation. There's lots of people, so once you get in, network the hell out of it.